Those CGI dwarves are gonna forever haunt my nightmares.
So whistle while you work.
What is going on, everybody? It is yours truly, the Ace, here with my review to Snow White, the latest Disney live-action adaptation. Hit that comment section, let me know what you thought about this movie, and what is your favorite Disney live-action movie? I think this year, I'm due for a Disney live-action movie ranking. I think I'm definitely gonna have to do that when I get some time. But let me know what you thought about this movie. So without further ado, here's Snow White. So Snow White is the latest Disney live-action adaptation to come to the big screen, directed by Mark Webb, who I loved in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, starring Rachel Zegler, who I loved in West Side Story, and Gal Gadot, who everybody loves as Wonder Woman. Now, when it comes to Disney live-action movies, there are some that I absolutely love. Aladdin is on the top of my list. Little Mermaid is really good. There are some that are just okay, like Beauty and the Beast, and there are some that are just terrible, and it's just my opinion, like The Lion King. So where would this movie stack up as far as those, with the tremendous amount of pressure that it's had off screen? Look, full disclosure, you guys already know all the stuff that happened off screen. I just really want to focus on the movie review because I was able to separate myself from all that off screen drama that came with this movie. But I understand it turns a lot of people off, but I'm just going to give my overall review. Also, full disclosure, I wasn't the biggest Snow White fan. It wasn't really high on my list as a kid, but I understand the importance of it. The first feature-length animated film that was really the pioneer for a lot of the Disney films that we love today, so I definitely understand how important it was. So what did I think about this movie? I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't enjoy it. But that doesn't mean that it's not enjoyable. Just because I didn't enjoy it doesn't mean that I don't think others won't. For example, there were a bunch of older ladies in my theater that were absolutely loving this movie. They were like me in Endgame. Some of the scenes had them like, yeah, woo! Other scenes had them like, I was completely happy for those ladies. It was definitely their childhood come to life. But like I said, just because I didn't enjoy it doesn't mean that I don't think others will. There is a target audience for this. The people of the elder generation will love this. Kids, at least for the first third of the film, will love this as well. But as far as me, it just wasn't for me. The good of this movie, Rachel Zegler. Think what you want about this girl, but she is absolutely talented. She's gorgeous with a beautiful singing voice and an amazing acting ability. She definitely carries this movie and, in my opinion, embodies what it's like to be a Disney princess. And even though I think the dwarves were hideous, I'm gonna actually say this. Dopey, no pun intended, was dope. Him and Snow White, the relationship that they had early on, like, it added so much heart and so many layers to the story.
Because when you whistle, it's your heart singing.
And it transitioned well to the original music. With that being said, too, the original music was on point. Rachel Zegler, like I had said, phenomenal voice. She hit those notes perfectly. The original music, when they did it, was phenomenal. Whistle While You Work is a classic. Very catchy, very recognizable, and I might have been singing it while I was editing. Whistle while I work. That hi-ho was great. It was very creative, very fun, very uplifting, very vibrant, and I was with it. The first quarter of the movie, I was interested. When you have these live-action movies, you can flesh out the characters more, flesh out the storyline, add more depth, and add more layers to the lore. Like in the beginning, when we're learning about what happened with her parents and how the evil queen rose to power, that stuff I thought was interesting. Lastly, the woodland creatures were great. Now, it's really hard to capture the realism of photorealistic animation that we're seeing on screen because we know that they're not real. We've seen like it done very poorly in The Lion King, but in this I actually thought it was very well done. Like, I know they're not real, but it didn't take me out of the movie. They were very helpful, and I thought it was a good part in capturing the actual essence of Snow White. All right, let's get into the bad. There's a lot to cover in this section. Where do I want to start? I'm gonna start with Gal Gadot. She was terrible in this. I didn't like her at all in this movie. She was very, very over the top in this role.
I look at you, and I just want to be the fairest of them all.
Didn't rein it in not 1 second. It'd be one thing if the other actors were matching her intensity, but she was like head and shoulders just overacting and to the extreme compared to her counterparts that were on screen with her. And then not to mention the songs that she had were cringeworthy. I didn't think there was a song that can rival how much I hated Scuttlebutt from The Little Mermaid than some of the songs that she had in this. They were very cringy, and I was just looking at it like it's very hard to find her to be very villainous in this, because like there are Lion King songs that are over the top, like Be Prepared. But when you have her songs where it's just grand and extremely over the top, and the other ones are more grounded, it just makes it feel very, very out of place. And it took me out of it. Visually, I was extremely disappointed in this movie. For a movie that has a $200 million budget, it looked like I was watching an episode out of Once Upon a Time. Very, very low budget feel. Some of the set pieces were vibrant, but the majority of them, along with the costume designs and the styles, I just don't think translated well to the big screen. And it, once again, those type of things took me out of it. The dress doesn't, like in Aladdin, I feel like they nailed the Princess Jasmine dresses. Beauty and the Beast as well. Here, I don't think this one translated well to it at all. And Rachel Zegler, no doubt she's gorgeous, but the majority of the time I'm looking at it with that hairstyle and I'm thinking of Lord Farquaad.
Run, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man!
But overall, it's just, it was just very, very distracting considering like how big of a budget it had. It just felt very, very low budget. Since we're on the topic of bad visuals, I gotta mention how horrendous the dwarves look on the big screen. They're horrifying. It was really, really bad. Now, were they able to capture the essence, the characteristic, and the charm of the dwarves? Absolutely. But it wasn't enough to win me over with how distracting they looked on the big screen. Like I said, Dopey was cool, but they looked horrible, especially when you're seeing them in scenes with real people. Like, it just doesn't fit. You seeing both of them on screen together, and it just, your brain is telling you, like, something is out of place here. And it's the fact that they look terrible. Now, the controversy behind it, should they have used real actors? They didn't. And, with seeing the dwarves, they were just, you could tell that they were definitely put in a lot of reshoots. And it felt like I was watching two separate movies. Because, the first half of the movie, they're establishing it with Snow White and the dwarves, and then all of a sudden they sprinkle in some bandits that aren't in the original movie. And I kind of felt like, and a lot of content creators have felt the same way, that they were originally going to go with the Snow White and maybe the bandits route. And then with the internet backlash, they added in the dwarves last minute, and it just didn't go well. And they look very, very bad. And it just makes you think, like, why didn't they just use real people? And story-wise, you could tell that this movie was heavily affected by the reshoots. Now, I've tried to stay away from the controversy that the lead actress, Rachel Zegler, has, talked about in various interviews. But she did go on to say things like, this is going to be more of a modern type story. She's not going to really need to rely on the guy. And then she jokingly was saying, like, we can cut all his scenes out, that type of stuff. Just paraphrasing what she was saying. But in the story of Snow White, it's kind of needed, and then it happens in this movie. So, did they go back and reshoot it? Was it supposed to be a whole different movie that we're supposed to see, and it didn't do well with some of the test screenings? That's why it took a couple more years to come out and stuff like that. And then it just brings a lot of like different type of perspectives to this movie and different type of expectations. And you could tell it definitely affects it. And Yeah, it definitely, you could tell it was victim. This movie did definitely feel like a victim of maybe possibly reshoots. Also, story wise, I'm not entirely sure that this is for kids. The first quarter of the movie, definitely, but I think the latter half of the film, you're gonna have a hard time keeping their attention as the tones tend to switch and go a little more serious. In the beginning, you know, it's vibrant, it's lively, the songs are great. It's that part definitely for kids. But then towards the end of the film, towards the middle and the end of the film, they take it a little more of a serious tone and storyline, and then it kind of, you know, it kind of becomes boring at that point. So I can see a lot of kids, you know, kind of losing interest from that point, because I was even kind of checking myself out at that point in the movie. So like I said, this movie I think will do good when it comes to the older generation, and some kids might actually love it, but I'm not entirely sure that it's completely for kids. But overall, all things considered, I'm just gonna say this movie was just not for me. I found it overall boring. There were some good things about it that I do think people will enjoy. Things about it that I didn't enjoy that people might enjoy at the end of the day. Just because I didn't enjoy it I don't think that other people won't find it enjoyable. You'll just have to check it out for yourself. It had potential, and as all the Disney live action movies do, but it's just Disney with these live actions, they have a hard time. A lot of them some of them are hits, some of them are misses. In my opinion, I think this goes in the miss category, but you know, like I said, check it out for yourself, because you might feel differently about it. Just because I didn't like it doesn't mean that other people won't. You know, there's like I said, there is a target audience for this, and if they go out and see it and support it, I think, you know, they'll enjoy it. But personally, like I said, it just wasn't for me. But I do appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. 3 movies in the 2025 season, as we are on the goal to hit 25 for this year. So make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. And like I said, I do appreciate you all for watching. For your sports, movies, and more, stay tuned for yours truly. As always, thank you for tuning into the Ace Avenue. I am yours truly, the Ace. Adios.